politics. The more you grow, the more corrupt the organization or business gets. And it's like you're the face that says no. Not only that you're a face, you're also one of the leaders that say no. This is not what we represent. And it's like what do you say to those that don't believe, or the naysayers that says otherwise?
You know, that's tough, man. That's a big one, man, because it's like at NAACP, obviously our focus is on the advancement of all people, right? Equal rights of all people, but specifically, unapologetically, again, a Black community.
Right.
And to be honest with you, as you just stated, some of our most resistance comes from our own people, or the same group of people who are trying to help, right? So it's like, I guess what I say to those people is, again, you don't know what you don't know. And if you concerned about the progress, then put your name in the hat. You know what I mean? Get involved.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours truly, Melly Mel, aka Mr. Unapologetic. Thank you all for tuning back in on another special episode on your #1 podcast, man. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another king on the show. It's been a while. I ain't just gonna be blunt, man. It's been hard to get this king on the show. So now that I have him, we're gonna enjoy this conversation like no other. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the administrator of the NAACP, the young King Kareem Scales. How you doing, King?
I'm blessed, Mel. Thanks for having me, man. It's like you said, man, it took a while for us to get here. I'm honored to be a guest on your podcast and looking forward to the conversation, man.
Oh, man. Thank you for actually accepting the invitation, man. Welcome to the family, Unapologetic family. The one thing I've always been attracted to was how Black professional men, how they come across always a stereotypical type of scene or in setting in our lifespan, and to break free of that, we have individuals like yourself and others like yourself that break through a barrier. I say, as being as young as you are and being in positions that you have created for yourself, man, it's I give you a round of applause, man, because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of responsibility. And not a lot of us will be like, yeah, sure, I'll run a half a organization with you. Like, that's not something that's every day. So how do you take your everyday duties, and how is that transition a part of your life? Because it's something that you're passionate about, I see.
No, for sure, man. That's a loaded one, but I think I know where you're going with it, man, because it is it's a blessing, right? That's the easiest way to say it. It's just a blessing, but it's also a huge responsibility. You know what I mean? And especially for somebody like myself, and I assume you've had some of the similar kind of humble experiences growing up. I'm originally was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, on the east side, and then spent the majority of my, I want to say, adolescent development phase in Battle Creek. We call home is BC. I'm from the Quaker Park neighborhood on the north side over there, and been in Grand Rapids now for about 15 years as well. But I'm saying all that to say that, man, like you said, man, it's a huge responsibility knowing where we come from, where there's a lack of opportunity or a lack of exposure to it. And then to be in a position now where you've been presented with such a prestigious opportunity to represent an organization with history like an NAACP. I mean, we've been around over 100 years doing this fight, right? And now it's more relevant than ever. The Grand Rapids branch just celebrated 100th year anniversary back in 2019.
Yeah, I seen that. That was in the paper.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Big. That was big.
Was amazing.
So, like you said, man, it's a lot to balance between, serving in the role as a community activist and as a leader in that space, and also as an entrepreneur. I'm a father as well, father of 4. I have a beautiful wife to be here in the near future as well. So it's a lot to balance, man. But I guess the way that I do it is just understanding that it's a blessing to be in this position. I have friends and family who unfortunately aren't here. Some of them incarcerated, some of them have passed on for different various reasons. So for me, that's what keeps me motivated, is knowing that I'm not only here for me, but I'm here to speak on behalf of those who didn't get the opportunities I got. But you also got to be in a position to be able to. It's both ways, right? I use the
Right.
analogy, like, it's gonna sound simple, but like, football, quarterback, wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to be able to receive that. You can get the greatest pass in the world, but if you ain't run that route right, you
You
didn't
ain't catching that ball.
you ain't catching that ball and you ain't scoring a touchdown. So
Right.
it's a prestigious opportunity, man. I'm honored to be here and just to take it in stride.
Wow, man. So you brought up that you're an activist as well. So what things do you highlight during these times that you're speaking for the people, protesting and stuff? What are some of the bigger goals
Yeah.
for your work?
Yeah. So at NAACP, our work is centrally focused around our what's called 6 game changers. And
Hmm.
I'll list them for you. The game changers are economic sustainability, health, education, voting rights and political representation, criminal justice reform, and youth representation. So, of
Ooh.
those 6, which are all equally important to me, we can tackle all those other issues. If we don't tackle the issue of creating economic sustainability in our communities, then we fail in all the other areas. And that's just my personal opinion and my personal approach is to understand that these conditions in our community, when we talk about health, we talk about criminal justice,
Right.
you give someone an equal opportunity to have a living wage or to have a business and they can sustain themselves financially. People who are in positions like that, you don't commit crime. You don't have time to. You just don't have time to. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So for me, I've always said the biggest way to have the greatest impact in this work is through economic sustainability. And we do that in a number of ways by providing educational opportunities
Right.
for people who want to get involved with small business. I also serve in a role on the Southtown Corridor Improvement District on the Business Development Committee, where we're focused on supporting business owners specifically in that Southtown community, which is like 49507, 49506. So we do that in a number of ways through being kind of that middleman between some of the grant programs that
So
have
you a
existed.
bridge.
Exactly. Being the bridge
Mm.
between the community and the opportunity. A lot of people are aware that these grants and these support systems are there, but when they get there and don't see somebody like themselves and see the opposite, and they see this jargon and this language, and you know what I mean, those things, it's a
It's
turn off.
over. It's overpowering. Just
Exactly. So
yeah.
we've been blessed to step in the gap, right, and serve as kind of like what we say as a resource broker, helping people get access to capital. NAACP also has a partnership with Rende Progress Capital, which is the first and only minority lender in the whole country. Started right here in Grand Rapids, called Rende Progress Capital, and they provide loans to small businesses and grants, some forgivable loans as well. And we have a partnership where we'll be starting 2022, we'll actually be having one of their representatives come on site one day out of the week and provide direct support
Wow.
to business owners who want to get access to capital. So those are a few of the ways that we do that.
Yeah.
And also just leading by example, right? As a
Right.
as a person in community, people watch what you do and they're gonna watch what you do more than what you say. So myself, I'm also a licensed insurance agent. I'm licensed in life, accident, and health insurance. In my previous roles at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and started to practice at New
What?
York Life as well. So making sure you got those protections in place, investing, getting me and some my circle of guys are getting involved with some investment properties in the real estate avenue. So we really big
Mm.
on this whole wealth generation. A lot of the information we didn't have access to before, so now it's time to go.
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer now.
Yeah.
And man, like like every time I think you're doing a lot, you amp it, man. Like
Yeah.
really, you an investor now? Like wow,
Man,
because I'm
we're
an
just trying
investor.
to tackle this from every angle, right? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
they say the average millionaire has, I think, 7 streams of income, right?
Yep. 7 to 8, 7 plus. Yep.
Yep. So that's where we just really focused on
Man.
taking this blueprint and running with it, man. And I try to lead by example.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
So, because I was reading all this, like I'm looking at like your Facebook right now, And I'm reading all this like when I was doing my research, trying to, understand like the positions that you have.
Right.
And I'm like, God darn, like, is there anything this man don't do?
Right.
Like, how do you find the time to recollect yourself and take a breather? Because just along as being an administrator, I know it's just the task alone just ante up every day. But doing that, I understand that you're human, you're a father, you have a life outside of work. And how do you take that time to breathe?
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I'm still trying to figure that out, bro. If you get the perfect answer, you tell me, man. For me, it's I
Oh
guess it's a
man.
blessing and a curse, right? Because I look at my work as my life.
Okay.
I don't separate the two because it is it's important to me, right? The things that I do as an entrepreneur and the moves that I'm making are all with the mindset or with the vision of creating better opportunities for my family. So the two are connected, right? I do think
Right.
it's important to have that balance. And like I said, we're still trying to figure that out. But I try to I spend my, Monday through Friday, I try to dedicate as much of my time as I can to the
Right.
craft and to the work. And then the weekend, I try to spend as much of that with the family and things like that, man. But yeah, that's a tough one, bro. I'm still trying to figure out that balance.
Man, look, because I'm trying to figure it out myself, man.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not in a position as broad as you, I feel like I'm looking at myself in the near future, because as I grow, so does my position as a person, as a business owner, as an investor, and as a father. And I'm like, wow. And seeing how you are able to actually balance this out as good as you do, even though I understand it's hard.
Right. It's
But
challenging.
you make it look kind of easy though, man, and it's amazing, and I applaud you for that. I feel like that is something that uh, others that do not get the chance to read about it, or more of a visual type of learner,
Right, right.
the actions speak better than the book, even
Mm.
though a book is just as powerful.
Yeah.
So it's like, I applaud you for that.
No, I
But
appreciate that, bro.
but how is it how is it that you're able to uh, uh, do the activism and do the assurance and do the administrative work? Is it all all in a 24-hour span that you do all these things, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to be, the NAACP, to have the flexibility, right, to be able to serve in the role of administrative operations, managing the day-to-day operations and staff, but also having the flexibility to incorporate some of the stuff that I do as an individual into the
Right.
work of the organization. So it
Right.
works well, right? Like I just told
Yeah.
you about the economic sustainability. Insurance is a piece of that, right?
Right.
So the worlds come together well. And then for me, it's kind of like some of the stuff comes in seasons, right? So as of recent, I haven't been as active in the insurance space. I just recently renewed my license and looking to get more heavily engaged in 2022 back in that space. So it's like certain seasons I'm kind of more heavily invested in the different areas um, of my entrepreneurial, I guess, endeavors.
Right.
And it's based off of where the opportunity is. Really, I've always
Mm.
been prided myself on being an opportunist, right?
Ooh.
If the opportunity right now for me is brightest in insurance, then that's where the focus is. You know what I mean? So it's paying attention to the trends, staying in tune with the seasons, not necessarily being so switcheroo where you just go with the tide, but also being able to adapt. I think is a skill
Mm.
set that I've been able to learn and master.
That's a good word right there.
I was going to say that to you earlier when you had mentioned, like you had joked and said, "Well, what don't you do?" I used to say that to people, right? I used to work in corporate America, Blue Cross Blue Shield, more internal facing, where I
Mm.
didn't really have access to be out in community and doing some of the stuff that I do now.
Okay.
When I first took that step out and was more in an external role, um, you know, you meeting people and you got to give them a title, right? What do you do? And I say,
Right. Right.
and when people ask me, what do you do? I say, what do you need done? Because if I don't know how to do it, we'll learn how to do it right now, or I know somebody who we can call and we'll broker the deal. So it's like that fear of, at first it started off as a fear of not taking advantage of opportunity, and now it's kind of cultivated into a skill set that allows us to adapt to wherever the opportunities are.
Wow, man, great answer, man.
Yeah.
Shoot, you can tell you've been doing this for some time, man. You can your skills show, man. I told actions speak louder than words.
And one thing, let me share one other thing, bro. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. I've always been the type of person who's been blessed to have some of the greatest people in my eyes pour into me, right? So I've been the young guy who's been blessed to be around the OGs like the Clee Jacksons at NAACP and Pastor David Mays from NAACP and Janice Hilliard and numerous others, right? Who I've engaged with in my professional career. And I was one of the people who really understood the importance of soaking up the game. You know what I'm saying? And really, I
You
have to
read
try
the blueprint.
for real. This Kareem you see now, it ain't necessarily that we copying it from them, but I've been one that's like, really soaking up the game for the people who've been in front of me, man. And
That's what we
that's what
supposed
you
to
see
do,
now.
man.
Yeah.
You doing it right, man. It's like you're even though you're just saying just to pay attention, be in tune to what you love, your pet, all that simple stuff.
Right.
A lot of people still be like missing it because it's like they are afraid to put themselves in that role, in that
Yep.
predicament. So what would you tell an individual that is talented, have skills, or don't know how to, represent themselves to the people? How would you guide them to it?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man. It's like it's really just comes to being willing to step outside your comfort zone, right? You don't know
Right.
what you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? For me, everybody's got this perception of what they think they want to be, and then a lot of times you get in that role and you don't like it. So for me, it's like you got to be willing to adapt, man. If they say there's an opportunity in plumbing tomorrow, maybe you ain't the type of person who want to get
Yeah.
your hands dirty, but like try it out. You know what I'm saying? Check it
Right.
out and jump in, no pun intended, unapologetically. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Give it your full effort though, for real. Cause that's
Yeah.
what I've been blessed with, man, is really, and it might not be that first thing. It might not be that second thing. It might not be the sixth thing. But if you
Right.
keep trying and you keep giving your full effort and exposing yourself to different opportunities, eventually you're gonna find your niche. And once you find that niche, it's just a matter of honing in on it.
Man.
So step out there, man. And even for me, it wasn't an aspiration of mine. If you would have asked me when I was young, would I be working with an organization like the NAACP and be in opportunities to be, speaking publicly? That was never something that I really aspired to do. For me, it was always like big business, corporate, some top floor boardroom, feet on the desk.
Penthouse.
Yeah. Well, I got a taste of some of that vibe, and when I was started getting in those spaces and understanding the politics that come with it, and I'm like, nah, this ain't where I want to be. And now I find myself with NAACP in a nonprofit space and really finding myself and really enjoying my work more than ever. So it's like you don't know what you want to know, man. You don't know what you want to do until you start doing it, and surrounding yourself really with the right people too is key.
Right. A lot of people ask me, well, not ask, but tell me about the NAACP. And since it's such a big organization, a lot of people think that it's a white collar type of organization, because you have that, how can I put it, that little whispering around when people start getting into business and politics, the more you grow, the more corrupt the organization or business gets. And it's like you're the face that says no. Not only that you're a face, you're also one of the leaders that say no, this is not what we represent. And it's like what do you say to those that don't believe, or the naysayers that says otherwise?
That's tough, man. That's a big one, man, because it's like at NAACP, obviously our focus is on the advancement of all people, right? Equal rights of all people, but specifically unapologetically, again, a Black community.
Right.
And to be honest with you, as you just stated, some of our most resistance comes from our own people, or the same group of people who are trying to help. right? So it's like, I guess what I say to those people is, again, you don't know what you don't know. And if you concerned about the progress, then put your name in the hat. You know what I mean? Get involved.
Ooh.
It's a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? A lot of it happens behind the scenes, right? When we're in the federal courtroom and President Jackson is up at 8 a.m. on the phone call with a judge at the 63rd District Court, trying to be that mediator between a young man who's facing 20 years, and we've been able to convert his sentencing to a diversion program and get him in a workforce development opportunity like Youth Build at the Grand Rapids Center for Community Transformation. People don't see when we, are
Wow.
downtown working with city officials.